Sultai Vannifar. This is my favorite combo meme pseudo-competitive deck in Standard. This deck, if you untap with Vannifar, a 1-mana creature, and a Corridor Monitor in hand, you can deal 30 plus damage to your opponent by combo chaining through your deck. I'm not going to walk through the full combo chain. I'm going to tell you, one, you'll probably see it while we play the deck, and two, if you'd like to see it written down, check out my primer on CoolStuffInc.com that went up earlier this week. You also go to bit.ly/Hugel articles for short. We are going to be playing in a constructed event today because we lucked into spiking our way up the ladder with the last couple of decks that we played. So for the next week, we're going to play primarily in constructed events, farm some gold, and preserve my ladder rank. If I donate more money, do you promise to only spend it on candy for your children? I don't know about candy, but a majority of my money goes to the children, believe it or not. Not the cheapest critters in the world. The sand's great. Buy its stuff. Jake's birthday is in a little, like 2.5 weeks. And he has requested a dinosaur cake. So I think we're gonna try and make that happen. Yogurt greater than candy. I mean, to be fair, yogurt is frequently like candy in disguise. You know, I mean, I probably should have played an untapped land there and made a food. Yeah, I definitely should have made a food there. You have to get Frilled Mystic. Flash is probably a bad matchup for us. This is money for a dino cake only. Sounds good. I'll tell Christy we have a budget. And actually, super relevant here. If I would have made a food last turn, I could have Woe Strider plus Neoformed this turn. My kids thought yogurt was ice cream until they started public school. Yeah, we definitely do popsicles that are just frozen yogurt. Froyo is good. So I'm gonna feel bad when they have another counterspell here, but it is what it is. I think I'm gonna, if this resolves, I'm gonna Neoform. Remember that time I didn't make a food? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Would Laziv be okay? It's an interesting thought. I don't know that I really have any cuts for him though, Bloody Roar. Like every slot in the deck's pretty accounted for. Have another Frilled Mystic. Gosh, it's been a while since we played against Flash. I'd forgotten how miserable this is. Maget, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And this is something I've talked about too. Like people ask me like, what do you think of the format? It's kind of early to really know what I think of the format. Like people are definitely still like, these cards have only been out for a week. Like there's a very real chance that a lot of the new things are bad. And like just this Flash deck that won the last Mythic Championship with some small upgrades is the ideal deck to be playing still. Yeah, we're pretty dead here. All right, so we get to bring in a bunch of Agonizing Remorses over Neoform. They're not really killing my stuff, so I think I get rid of a Spark Double. I'm gonna trim a Woe Strider as well. I'll trim Grazer. Getting under them sounds good. I'll trim a Woe Strider. Let's try this. Do you dare tell me Black-White Calyx isn't going to be good? It's hard to know. Hopefully we're going to get back to that one again this weekend and give it another try, but that is definitely a deck that could end up being less good than advertised. Those are great, Chuck. Let's pull these up on screen. These are really cute. Unicorn and dinosaur cakes. Those are great. In. I make them delicious. She makes them pretty. It's good teamwork. I burnt my wild cards on 4 Calyx despite your warnings and still intend to hold you accountable for making it look sweet in the first place. Fair. You wouldn't be a member of Twitch chat if you didn't do that. It's the part where they play Paradise Druid, and then they Mystic Dispute my Vannifar next turn. Now, there are things we can do to help combat this matchup a little bit. So, for example, this is a deck that hasn't been super popular lately, but if it does pop back up as one of the competing decks in the format, there's the 2-mana enchantment creature that's very, very good in a matchup like this. Well, that's just creatures and enchantments you control can't be countered. It's almost like when they designed this format, they expected Veil of Summer to be legal. Weird. Weird. Yeah, Destiny Spinner, that's the one. Yeah, and when I say popular or unpopular, everything's definitely super anecdotal, right? Like, even I play more Magic than most people, and even the total sample size of everything I play on a given week is small. Thanks, Wizards. I appreciate you. And they scryed top there, so I assume, like, nothing I do is resolving. Interesting. What did they top? We have to get Nightback Ambusher. You're like 1 in 6 versus Flash. There's like, I assume this matchup is close to impossible with that how it's constructed now. I am very surprised they offered that trade. Okay, they appear to be on empty here. Maybe. Maybe I'm supposed to hold one of these in case I draw Vannifar. That's very possible. Should have played this land first because we could have gotten quenched there and that would have been real embarrassing. The benefit to playing both the Tower Scouts out here is we get to go on the beatdown plan now. Skyland's actually pretty good for them here. Perfect. I should have attacked with Corridor Monitor here too, I think. I missed a point of damage. Yeah, it should be a good game if they're scrying again here. I guess they get it like a Brazen Borrower, perhaps. So, if this card's not Brazen Borrower, they take 4, they chump block here, they die.
The land fights for us.
Yeah, I can untap my creatures at any point here too, which is great. Alright, well, we're on the scoreboard at least. That's good. Baby steps, baby steps. Think I'm happy with what we did. On the draw, I really can't get under them. Think I'm supposed to become more interactive. Bring in these trophies. Yep. And that's... So, I said this in the primer too, but it bears repeating. On the surface, it feels like the hardest part about this deck is memorizing the different combo lines. I actually don't think that's the hard part. The hard part of this deck is learning to be able to sequence when you're not comboing and just like trying to play a game of Magic with like kind of mediocre creatures. That's the tough part. You want Plague Crafter? I don't think Plague Crafter is very good against their Mana Dork deck. Just a bump blue-black flicker sounds good ballpark. I'll get added after the stream like all the other bumps. Woe Strider is pretty good in these kind of attrition-y matchups because they counter our stuff, our graveyard fills up, eventually we get to recast it from the bin. Yeah, but like, if we have Nightmare Shepherd in play, Justin, we're probably winning anyways. So like, us playing a card that's only good when Nightmare Shepherd resolves is not great. I mean, in their defense, Nanich, like, actually executing the combo with this deck isn't trivial, and it's mechanically very cumbersome. So, like, it's not easy to do the combo with this deck, especially if it's your first couple of times through. But I also think classifying it as the most difficult part is definitely not accurate. Like, being able to mechanically execute the combo from different position is like the barrier to entry, not the peak, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not really sure we can beat this Nissa. From a board state like this, she just kills us too quickly. So, unlike the dedicated ramp decks that we have very good matchups against because they don't have a lot of interaction, this flash deck applies an immense amount of pressure while also disrupting us, which is the big difference. All right, I can pay for Mystic Dispute here, right? I can pay for Quench. Cannot get Sinister Sabotage, though. Yep, feels standard, man. gonna go ahead and put this into play because it blocks these 3/3s. So I got 3 cards in my bin, including this, so I need 2 more things to die to bring Woe Strider back. I might throw a Goose away here, just so I can get closer to this Woe Strider.
Man shall conquer you.
Getting this in as a 5/4 gives us some stabilization against the Nissa. I'm like, I have enough lands that if I draw another Vannifar next turn, I can play Vannifar through a Mystic Dispute with 1 Goose. So I have 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and play Tower Scout out here. Can trade that for a land and then escape the Woe Strider next turn. It's getting Frilled Mystic. I mean, I guess it kills one of my removal spells and then gives them another attacker. I feel like if Frilled Mystic's their last resource, they probably don't want to use it. They can also have nothing and just be getting priority because they have a castle here. Nightpack Ambusher. Yikes. Well, the good news is if that attacks, we get to double block it, so it might not attack this turn. Making a food in response means they can quench my 3/3, and quench is basically a dead card at this point, so I'd prefer to not turn it into a live card for them. Oh, you're saying quench in response to the untapped trigger? It doesn't really matter. The Goose being untapped is mostly irrelevant. I get to make a food here. You're right, that is probably technically correct, but it doesn't functionally mean anything. Yeah, they have the Frilled Mystic too. Yeah, I don't know. The games against the Flash deck just aren't particularly interesting. The games they win, they tend to just run you over. Did you have fun this match? No, I played against Flash. Come on now. Don't ask me that question. I feel like every time I get asked that question, we just got done playing against Nexus of Fate. Or the Flash deck. Now, you know what would be smart? I feel like it's definitely anecdotal that I feel like that pops up in the miserable matchups. I wonder if they have it programmed to ask that question more often when people play against decks that they might be considering banning. Because I think how people feel about the decks they're playing against should definitely be a consideration for whether or not they remove things. May I ask why you dislike the Simic Flash deck when you enjoy other Flash decks, historically speaking? I don't enjoy Flash decks strictly so much as tempo decks, and that deck's really just, it's like the Flash decks I've enjoyed historically speaking are burn Flash, burn tempo decks, and that deck is a ramp tempo deck. The thing that took that archetype from being unplayable to good like it is today is they cut all the cute tempo cards and they jammed Nissa and Hydroid Crisis into it. The reason why it's good isn't because of the Flash cards, it's good because it plays Nissa and Hydroid Crisis and then counters everything you do. When I've liked Flash decks historically speaking that give their opponents decisions. When the correct decision every turn is I have to counter your spell or I lose the game, that's not a decision, right? That's you have to do this or the game is over. I mean, we also haven't played much blue-green Flash. Yeah, the blue-red Flash deck with, the burn spell element that it has is definitely much closer to the style of decks that I enjoy compared to what the blue-green Flash deck is doing. We just 2 for 2 against blue-green Flash now? Is that what's about to happen to us? Feels like that might be what's occurring. Bad beats. Please tap out for like a Thassa or something. Did you like the blue-green flash deck before the Nissa Crisis? I mean, it wasn't good before those additions. I think it was less interesting than blue-red still. No, if we're playing ranked ladder, there would be a ranked icon down here next to my name, Party Bus CEO. I'm gonna shock this in so that way I can pay for a Mystic Dispute. If we get Frilled Mystic, I'm gonna concede the match. I'm gonna add a couple of Destiny Spinners to the sideboard and come back later. No, I've definitely gotten the question when I'm on the ladder, Justin. No, it's random, Justin. So, Destiny Spinner, when it's in play, says they can't counter our stuff, which seems great. So maybe with Spinner plus Agonizing Remorse, we can steal some games in that matchup if we run into it again. Yeah, I've seen that message multiple times too, but it's very sporadic. I play a lot though. In my experience, this is where now that I've tuned my sideboard, I won't see Simic Day. Good. I'd be happy with that. Let's just never play against it again. I'm okay with that outcome. Nah, the more I play this format, the more I'd be surprised if they ban anything. I think this is very similar to War of the Spark or Ravnica Allegiance Standard, where like there's definitely decks that suck to play against, but the format seems relatively well balanced. There's a variety of different things that seem relatively competitive, even if some of the things that I enjoy aren't present in the format. So, unless something happens that like breaks something in a future event, I think we're pretty unlikely to see any bannings happen in this format. Unless something new and scary rears its head. Okay, so I'm not under any sort of pressure here currently, so I'm gonna lead on Nightmare Shepherd rather than Prime Speaker Vannifar, because Nightmare Shepherd insulates this against a piece of removal. So if I was under pressure and needed to combo right away, I would jam the Vannifar and make them have it, but because I'm not under any sort of pressure, there's no reason for me to do that. Yeah, so they're dead. They're dead. The game is ended. I didn't need the Paradise Druid, but it makes things a little bit easier. And this combo chain here is actually pretty straightforward because we already have Nightmare Shepherd in play. So we sack the scout here. This comes back, untaps this. These scries don't matter. So once you have the 1-drop, the 1-drop turns into this, turns into Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor untaps this. We sacrifice this. This comes back, untaps Prime Speaker. Grab another Woe Strider for devotion. We get to go ahead and sacrifice the Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor turns into Tower Scout. Tower Scout untaps this. We get to go ahead and sacrifice the Tower Scout. Tower Scout comes back, untaps Vannifar. We get a second copy of Nightmare Shepherd here. We go ahead and we sacrifice this this Goose here again. We go ahead and grab another Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor comes into play and untaps Vannifar. We activate Vannifar. We sacrifice Nightmare Shepherd. Nightmare Shepherd comes back into play. We have to go ahead and do the Gray Merchant. We get to go ahead and sacrifice the Corridor Monitor here, which brings the Corridor Monitor back into play and untaps my Prime Speaker Vannifar. Then we get to go ahead and sacrifice this other Nightmare Shepherd to go ahead and get the second Gray Merchant, which also happens to be on top of our deck here. When you're executing this combo in paper, by the way, you definitely should just not shuffle your deck and just hold it in your hand the entire time. And then the Woe Striders can sacrifice these Gray Merchants to deal extra damage. I could have dealt more damage this game if we needed to, but as you can see here, we're going to kill them and have overkill. So, you've seen the creator program? If so, will I buy? Listen, Chalky, I'm not sure if that's a joke, but they're not even willing to invite me to their pre-release thing that they invite everyone to, so the answer to that is almost certainly no. That's almost certainly a waste of my time. What are we doing here? I think we're just clicking submit. I don't really know what they're doing. Maybe I'm supposed to bring an Assassin's Trophy as a hedge. That's probably what it is. When I'm not sure what I'm sideboarding, usually I just do 2 trophy and 2 Neoform out, just in case they have something like Grafdigger's Cage or anything, Leyline of the Void. I have an out to whatever hate card they could be boarding in. Yeah, they're like a mid-range deck. They're doing something cute with the Divine Visitation. Divine Visitation might be up there for cards that are most played that just aren't very good. Hey, awesome, Tofu Cow. Congrats on your raise. Gunther, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. Divine Visitation cantripped, or if it made an angel when it came into play, the fact that it doesn't impact the board itself is a big deal. I'm going to keep this on the draw, because if we draw a second land, we can Paradise Druid and go from there. This deck also plays a pretty high land count. We're on 25, so, swish. You do, Seagully. This is a post-board game, so I wouldn't be super surprised something like a Lava Coil here. They got a Fry as well. Vannifar is a blue creature. Waste of Time is the best belt in World of Warcraft. That's great. They're actually not dead if we untap, right? Because they killed the Paradise Druid. Grazer's lethal though, right? Grazer's lethal. Remember when I said they weren't dead? I lied. One mana creature's lethal. JK never did that. And that, people ask, like, why is there one Grazer? There's one Grazer because you need it to combo in situations like this. You need 1-drops to combo, so like having a 5th 1-drop's really good. So step 1 when comboing is you need to get Nightmare Shepherd. Then once you have Nightmare Shepherd, you play Corridor Monitor and they die from there. The number of game actions we're going to take to kill them from here are great, but they are in fact dead. So the first step is we sacrifice this. It comes back, it untaps Prime Speaker Vannifar, and then we go ahead and get ourselves a Woe Strider. And then we go ahead and pod this into the 3-drop. Which untaps Vannifar. Then we go ahead and we pod this into a 1-drop. And then the Woe Strider can sacrifice the Tower Scout, which untaps Vannifar. We get to go ahead and sacrifice this. Grab Corridor Monitor, untap this. Then, from here, what's the most optimal line? There's another Corridor Monitor in my deck, so we'll start with that. Let's get all of these into play. And then I can turn this into a Nightmare Shepherd. And then we could Woe Strider, sack the Corridor Monitor, which brings it back into play. Scries don't matter. This is our last Tower Scout. But that's fine, right? Because now I could go turn one of these into a Grey Merchant. This is turn 4. I haven't played a land drop. Then we sacrifice Corridor Monitor, which untaps Prime Speaker. Magic is a game of combos, chat. And then we sacrifice this and go get our other Grey Merchant, which this second Grey Merchant does 9. And then we can sacrifice each of the Grey Merchants to return them and do 9 more on each of them. So we can do another 18 points of damage here. I could have also gotten a Woe Strider to do like 4 extra points of damage in here, but as you can see, we're already overkilling them, so I don't need to take more game actions to waste time. Good. Good, clean living. Swish. How are we doing today, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week on release weeks like this. As always, love to give a shout out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their support, so thanks to all of them for keeping me employed. I'd also like to plug a couple of my sponsors here really quick. BCW Supplies, the only ones I trust to protect my paper trading cards using code HOGLANDIA at bcwsupplies.com. You can save 10% on sleeves, binders, deck box, and all sorts of other fantastic gaming accessories there with them. Cardsphere.com is a peer-to-peer trading network that would love to help you turn your cards into other cards directly with other players. There's no haggling, and they just take 1% fee off the top. If you get on over to inkedgaming.com/Jeff, you can save a little bit on your orders of custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and more. And of course, the Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series, a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. If you can't make it out to play in one of their Modern, Pioneer, or Legacy tournaments, sure check out their streaming coverage as well at twitch.tv/NRG series. And of course,
don't make your life garbage time. Join us in Hoaglandia today by subscribing to Jeff Hoagland with Twitch Prime today.
bum ba dum ba dum ba da 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 bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum bum. All right. I mean, so like these are hands where I think you risk it for the biscuit. We're going to bottom an incubation here because like this hand is everything we need in it to combo, right? So I would feel better if we were on the draw, but I have a scry land at least. Swish. I think this deck's very reasonable, Scholar. I think your matchup against the non-interactive ramp decks is good, and I think you have enough play in the interactive matchups that you're not just dead. Unfortunately, this cannot find a land, so we needed to scry into one there like we did. All right, untapped land. Take a shepherd for now. May your combos kill and your dream trawlers have hexproof. Thanks for the 3 months, totally reasonable. I would like to point out in an ideal world though, you'd probably like your trawlers to never have hexproof because it means you're not discarding cards to them and your opponent's just leaving them alone. Alright, so they're dead. They're dead if we untap and they don't impact our board. Hopefully I just like cast Anissa or Hydrate Crisis here and then die. We did miss a land drop, so this was our turn 4, so this will be a turn 5 kill if we kill them next turn. What you doing, opponent? Hey, Naya.
Together, we will prevail. Rise, my elemental friend.
I'm gonna float a mana here. Just in case something goes sideways. Yeah, they are dead here. For people that are wondering, the opponent has died. So since we already have the Nightmare Shepherd, again, we get Woe Strider here now. Do they know they have died? I have no idea. Whirl, the card that counters an activated or triggered ability actually doesn't save them at this point because I have an untapper in hand that I can cast. Eldrazi Temple reprint, I'd be pretty surprised at that. And then you'll note that the other Gray Merchant is in my hand here. So this is a spot where Spark Double comes in handy. So I'm gonna... Gonna pot a 3-drop into Spark Double. I always like, so this isn't necessary, but I always like to leave an extra untap on the battlefield just in case I've forgotten something or missed something. So that way I can fix it if I screwed up. So again, we could have overkilled there or gotten more devotion if we need to, but we just didn't need to. So I chose to execute the combo in the least. That was me executing the combo with the least amount of clicks possible. Agonizing Remorse sounds good here. Trim a Grazer, trim a Woe Strider. To be fair, in paper, so how you should do this in paper is I've executed combos like this in Modern. What you do is, the first time you pick up your deck to search for it with your Vannifar, you just pull all of the cards that you're gonna combo through to the very front of your deck, and you just like put your deck face up on the table, and you just explain to your opponent like, okay, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna untap this, I'm gonna get this one next. You just like put them out one at a time, you don't shuffle in between each time. Yeah, you're like, if your opponent doesn't have any interaction, you shorthand it. We ever go for full 100% damage for it. So the problem is they die before you could do that right now. And like, which conditions you're starting with dictate how you can go. Nice, Wargy. Yeah, the trick to the combo is trying to figure out what the different like conditionals are. Like, okay, when I'm starting with like 1-drop untapper, okay, if I'm starting with like 2-drop untapper, if I'm starting with Nightmare Shepherd, what do I need? What's so bad about Modern? I can actually describing Modern's very easy in the context of this deck that we're playing. So this deck's kind of novel in what it does, and it's okay because it's novel and it's unique, right? Modern is basically a format where most of the good decks are doing what this deck is doing by turns 2, 3, or 4. And it's a format of people just playing past each other, trying to pop off first. And if you enjoy that, yeah, some of them kill on turn 1, in fact, too. That's true, Neoshul Brand. If you're someone that enjoys that type of racing gameplay, more power to you, you'll enjoy Modern. I like this type of gameplay when it's novel. I don't like this type of gameplay when it's almost every single match that you're playing. Even Eldrazi-tron is only playable because it's a pseudo combo deck. When Eldrazi-tron was at its best, it was locking people out with Karn combo. When Eldrazi-tron is at its best, it's because Chalice of the Void is a playable card. Eldrazi-tron is only good because it's trying to soft combo people with prison elements. We play Legacy on occasion. We've actually played some the Epic Storm in Legacy recently. Legacy's a fine format if you enjoy casting the card Brainstorm. If you don't enjoy casting the card Brainstorm, Legacy's not really a format for you.
Harness the elements.
So I'm snapping off this block because it means Vannifar gets to resolve next turn. So if they don't have a way to take Vannifar off the table or counterspell my place next turn, they're dead. Legacy is great if you like basic planes. Is Death and Dex is still competitive? I believe that. They only need a single counter next turn because I don't have a 1-drop in play yet. So, in order to combo them next turn, I need to resolve 2 spells. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I think this deck will show up in a tournament next month. Maybe. Hey, thanks for the 1.5 year, Cold Shoulder. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. They did in fact take my toy. Probably dead here. If I find Vannifar next turn, we could maybe be okay. You cannot spark double their creature. It is only creature or planeswalker you control. It is not a better clone. This matchup is good. Is not, however, unlosable, as that game just showed. Agent of Treachery is a cumbersome but effective removal spell there, especially when they can go get and they can go get Thassa to like endlessly steal stuff. So the problem is, Captain Shenanigans, let's examine your statement. You said trophy's good for taking away their Nissa to prevent their mana ramp. If they've cast Nissa, they have 5 mana. If I trophy their Nissa, they're guaranteed to have 6 mana. So killing their Nissa after they play it means they can still play Agent of Treachery the following turn. So I disagree with your assessment that Assassin's Trophy is the appropriate tool for this matchup. I think Agonizing Remorse is the ideal type of interaction because it allows us to stop our opponent's key cards before they happen, as opposed to being reactive and responding to them afterwards and giving them more lands. I'm not sure that the color blue has good enough tools to be aggressive with Thassa, and it doesn't really have tools to ramp with Thassa either, right? So it might be tough. We're looking for a Paradise Druid or a Goose or an Arboreal Grazer so we can get this Vannifar into play a turn ahead of schedule. All right, so they have Dispute and Disdainful Stroke. So I'm going to take Stroke here. The fact they let on Basic Island kind of implied that they had this. And I mean, this is what they need to be doing, right? Like, they can't race us. They need to interact with us. They took the bait, chat. One could argue that I was a master at baiting. So, we don't know what these two cards here are, but definitely just going tapped land, jam Vannifar next turn. Every turn they inch closer to these Agent of Treachery, so I need to just win the game ASAP. I'll leave that distinction up to the imagination, Modium. So, looking for a 1 or a 2 drop. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Okay, so we're not killing them this turn, but they can't do anything to us next turn. I guess they just get to tap her every turn. No, we don't win. The Thassa diddling Vannifar every turn is actually kind of troubling here. So they get to tap Van here. I guess. I have not had a submission for this deck in Historic yet, no. It adds Land War Elves. Land War Elves would be very good in this deck. You wouldn't have to play Arboreal Grazer. That's a potentially lethal draw. Wait, they just gave me the thing? Okay, so they're dead. It's a weird game. Yeah, they needed the tap Vannifar. I mean, I don't know that they're winning in the long run. I think we just kill them. I think we just kill them the following turn. If they don't, even if they take the right play, but yeah, that was a good example of like them having disruption, but us putting pressure into play while they were disrupting the Vannifar. We're quite able to overcome it. It's good for us. Good showing. I like when we get to play some of the more scrappy games like that, show some of the flexibility that this archetype has. I think I'm gonna keep this. These block against aggro a little bit. These two cards are useful when we're comboing. We got some Scry lands to do some digging. I think I'm actually gonna keep that. I think I'm in for a guaranteed 4th land on 4. I think we just solidly monitor the corridor here. Probably could have gotten in for a point of damage there. You've entered the wrong corridor. I might need to see your hall pass, Gutterbones. Who gave you permission to be out here? Alright, so they're dead. Good chat. So, one of the reasons why this deck is so consistent is because you don't necessarily have to have an untapper in hand if you have Nightmare Shepherd to play as well. So like any of our 8 untappers or Nightmare Shepherds allow us to get to lethal in this deck once you untap with Vannifar. So you just have so much redundancy. Nightmare Shepherd. Then, let's grab some of the Corridor Monitor. Yeah, they know they're dead from here. They've seen this song and dance before. They're probably a Mayhem Devil deck, huh? Trophy and Wicked Wolf sound good. Probably don't mind leaving a couple incubations in. It might be possible. Yeah, we died to Flash twice, or we died to Flash and then we hit Flash again and I conceded. So I added Destiny Spinner because the Flash matchup seems real bad. Yeah, I like the version of Red Black Aristocrats that we played. You can find my preferred iteration along with lots of other decks on my website. Click Standard Decks at the top. This exiles Mayhem Devil 2. It might be right to just board in Destiny Spinner here just because, like, it's a 2-3 blocker. I don't know. It could go either way on that. I don't really have anything that I want to cut. Easy mulligan here. No combo pieces, no second land. If you've watched the stream, you'll know I don't mind risking it for the biscuit with the temple to try and hit a second land if we have all our combo pieces, but without combo pieces, you don't gamble on hands like that. This hand's quite good, just like a 1-4 on turn 2 is good against these aggressive decks. That's a great draw. Now, post-board, I'm expecting my opponent's deck to have a little bit more interaction in it. So I think this is probably going to be a game where, unless they put us under an incredible amount of pressure, where I lead on Nightmare Shepherd. So that way, if they do have a removal spell, they need to kill Shepherd before they can kill Vannifar. So this acts as like a Spellskite sort of effect to protect our thing, which is super relevant. That's very unfortunate. I mean, I think Destiny Spinner stays if you want to have a hedge against, what's it called? If you want to hedge the Flash matchup, Destiny Spinner is the best way to do that. That's what I wanted to do. As is frequently the case, what decks you want to beat dictates what cards go in your sideboard. Sure, but like, why is it even worth pointing that out, Seagully? Like, do I have a means to play around that? Like, why is that useful? Do you wanna sack your Fabled Passage and kill my Corridor Monitor? Deal. That is a phenomenal draw. Yeah, we've won those matchups, Captain. They're definitely harder than some of the others, but they're also not impossible. You rarely combo in the interactive matchups. A Deckmaster does not have the new cards in it, Zero. It only has previous set cards in it. Unless you're referring to Stream Decker, the deck list, in which case you need to close it and reopen it. They gonna like sacrifice a bunch of stuff here and like kill this Nightmare Shepherd. They could sack Goat, Devil, Reaper and kill my Nightmare Shepherd if they want. No, in this case, Ewok, there's literally a bug where you close it and open it. It opens the second time. Yeah, like, we're just under so little pressure here that this is a good exchange for us. So, like, next turn I get to play out another Nightmare Shepherd to still insulate my Pod Bomb. If they don't have another Mayhem Devil here, we're in a pretty reasonable spot this game. Well, they didn't misorder it, Canderous. They had to order it that way because otherwise they wouldn't get the extra trigger for Mayhem Devil to kill my 4/4. So you're right. They elected to kill my thing instead of drawing an extra card, but they definitely ordered that in the right way. Yeah.
I've learned a bunch of new burn spells. Don't worry, I brought company.
I don't know. If their hand has a bunch of removal in it, they don't necessarily need to concede. It's funny that someone talked about red-black Aristocrats, and this is the deck we queued up into. Priest is real scary here. I mean, like, they needed to get rid of that 4-drop. Like, people who are talking about exchanges and seeming good or bad are, like, forgetting the context, and context is everything in Magic and life. Like, you can't just, like, throw away the context and be like, oh, this is fine. Yeah, Woe Strider is very good with Chandra. The red-black Aristocrats deck is a deck that I loved last season. I still like this season. They have a Murderous Rider here, a way to kill this Nightmare Shepherd. We're in a lot of trouble. Alright, we're dead. Active Trees is pretty good. I think I'm happy with how I board it. Let's just, like, run it back. Mayhem Devil is a real concern for us, for sure. Sure. Hand needs to draw some lands, but pretty good otherwise. Scryland. Yeah, I'll take it. Gonna hold on to the Corridor Monitor because I want this in hand to untap the Vannifar. Woe Strider is really good in the face of Priest of the Forgotten God because it makes us a goat. Arpai, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. What purpose does Wicked Wolf serve in this deck? To kill cards like this and Mayhem Devil? It serves as removal. I'm trying to hit a land here. If you want to learn more about this deck, including some of the ins and outs of the sideboard, I'd encourage you to check out the article on CoolStuffInc.com. Published a full primer on the deck Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days. Kind of talks about some of the things that are important to think about, what to prioritize when, etc. For people that are asking about matchups, please go read the primer. A lot of people are asking questions that are answered here. Ha! That's just rude. They get to attack here, and then they get to sack it and draw a card. Feels bad, man. This is the way we lose with this deck, is pressure plus disruption beats you. Just disruption or just pressure, or just disruption or just pressure you usually fight against, because you can, like, grind out disruption, and you can, like, block against pressure, but when they have both, you end up in trouble. Yeah, Claim's really good. Like I said, the red-black Aristocrats deck is very, very good. If you haven't seen the archetype my current opponent's playing, it's one of the many decks you're missing out by not checking out my website. A lot of great stuff up there. All the standard decks up there, if they want Theros cards, have Theros cards in them now. Maybe I'm supposed to trade with Wicked Wolf there. I would have traded there. So they can sack everything to kill Vannifar here. Let's start here and see what they do. Yeah, I think I messed up by not trading Wicked Wolf for Midnight Reaper last turn. Oh. Deal. We do not win from here. If you think we win from here, you don't understand the pod chains. So if I had a 1-mana creature, we could win from here, but I don't, so we can't. I can, however, put Nightmare Shepherd into play. I can put Nightmare Shepherd into play, and I can put Grey Merchant into play. So I think that's the line. Yeah, there's a lot of cards that are bad for us here, but we can't kill them from this board state. It's not how Magic works. There are 5 cards in our bin, so I can escape the Woe Strider next turn, potentially, if we want. Yeah, if Midnight Reaper's their play, that's potentially very good for us. That means we have a lot of draws next turn. Kind of surprised we didn't see them sack the cat to try and like. I guess they could still sack the cat here. So we get to block with Grey Merchant, and then it bounces back and domes them for 4. So they're going to sack the cat, the Cauldron Familiar to this. They'll draw 2, they'll lose 2. This will get bigger. So a lot happens here, and they could still... No, Claim doesn't even do it, right? Because Claim is only 3 or less. If we draw any... If they can't interact with our board anymore, any 1 or 2 mana creature kills them next turn. How about a land? Does a land kill them? I don't think it does, chat. Wait, does it? No, they're dead anyways, right? Are they? If I hit them with this... I think I boarded out Spark Double. I think I boarded out Spark Double. Spark Double is lethal if we have it. And like, in a normal match of Magic, I could check my sideboard here. But I can't currently do that, right? Because this is Magic the Gathering Arena. Oh! Oh yeah, I can do that, right? No, that doesn't do it. Oh, Merchant and then Trophy them. Yeah, that does it, right? Because they have 2 Midnight Reapers. Yes, that does it. Sorry, opponent. I didn't mean to slow roll you. Yeah, I could get a third-party extension to do what Magic Arena should do for me, but, you know. I mean, I could have gotten to that line without chat, probably. I just was pausing to think on if I boarded out my thing or not. Should we play one more? I feel like we should play at least one more. All right, I'm going to hit a really short ad roll. I'm not doing a full one because we're not changing decks, but I need to run to the bathroom and brush my teeth and put my Invisalign back in. So I'll be back in just a minute and a half or two with another match or two with the Vannifar deck because this deck is gas. So back in a second. Thanks for hanging out. Look at that. Exactly a minute and a half. Play Woe Strider, trade Nightmare for Gary, would have gotten 6 damage last game too. No, it wouldn't have, because the Woe Strider wouldn't come back. Or the Nightmare Shepherd wouldn't come back. So I would have had Grey Merchant, Woe Strider in play, which is only a total of 5. So that would have been 1 point short. Some pretty medium hands here. Like we have a lot of creatures that don't do a whole lot in our hand, and no Vannifar, but not a lot of lands either. This hand's not super exciting, but it's fine. No, definitely don't want to. I went on bottom Grey Merchant. Would prefer to never draw this card. I think I'm bottoming a Swamp here. I'm going to bottom the Woe Strider. American Dental Association recommends brushing for at least 2 minutes. Listen, I brush my teeth like 5 times a day. If I do it quickly for some of the times, it's going to be okay. My teeth have never been better taken care of than the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 months now that I've had these Invisalign in. We're following the directions. It's like we're playing against Aristocrats again. Can you see how you've boarded on MTGO while in games 2 and 3? Correct. Magic the Gathering Online follows the rules of paper Magic. It didn't always have that feature, but I complained enough that they eventually added it. Eepadidizzle, thank you for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I've still got a little while. I'm currently on tray 8 out of 29, so another year or so still. If I play this, I'm not dead next turn, so guess we'll start there. This matchup seems quite challenging. So we could theoretically kill them next turn if they have nothing else. We could draw a 1-drop or a corridor monitor and then incubation incongruity into the other. We've not played this deck in any other formats. I think it's almost certainly good in Historic. It might be good in Pioneer. I don't know, you get to play a lot of 1-mana dorks in Pioneer, which probably makes it better. Conceding to Mayhem Devil. Wow. The fact that they didn't attack with the Midnight Reaper this turn means that we actually have a shot here still. I think they should have attacked with this to pressure us out of the game. The fact that they didn't attack with that means I get to play this Nightmare Shepherd and get another turn. Like, they're going to get to draw a bunch of cards here, so they could draw stuff to interact with us, but this is potentially pretty okay for us. If they don't kill us here, they die next turn. Kill us or interact with our board. They take Prime Speaker, Vannifar, or Nightmare Shepherd away, we can't win anymore, and we are going to have to block with both of them. Dead to Mayhem Devil, dead to spot removal. Dead to Cauldron Familiar. They get to draw 2 cards here. Survey says. So, huh. Oh, I should have blocked. Yep, correct. Did do a lot, but play with what you got's accurate. Excuse me? Well. You're a lizard, Harry. I think we just pass. I don't want to die to Chandra. I think we just pass. We're dead to a lot. We're dead to a lot. We're dead to cats. We're dead to Mayhem Devils. We're dead to Bone Crusher Giants. For the record, the only thing my opponent's done that I disagree with so far this game was not attacking with Midnight Reaper that turn. They've made good plays otherwise. They think they've made relatively good plays otherwise. This might be a spot where Spark Double saves us. So, I pod this. Oh, the Spark Double's in my hand. I'm dumb. I can't pot into it. We're gonna eventually get a Grey Merchant. This eventually ends in a Grey Merchant. Yeah, it still has all the text. Wait. How did you Vannifar Druid? Hexproof is cheating, and it's only your opponent's stuff. They can't target it. So again, this is one of the more challenging parts of playing this deck, is figuring out, well, okay, they're not dead, but how do we get them closest to dead? Worth noting here, if I would have attacked with Nightmare Shepherd last turn, we could have killed them. Well, I guess that's not true, because they could gain life here. Okay, we're up to 9, though. So 9 means we're no longer dead to a lot of things, so, you know, maybe, sure, yeah, get a little bit lucky. And again, I think my opponent did misevaluate an earlier turn that game by not being as aggressive as they possibly could be, which gave us enough breathing room to be able to punish them there like we did. I'll call it a comeback, because it was a heck of a comeback. Well, hello there. If I do say so myself. I think it's right to board out Spark Double here. Well, I mean, if the Mayhem Devil would have killed Vannifar, it would have come back as a 1/1, so I don't know that that was strictly incorrect. So I think that was a play that was like not strictly right or wrong. The temples have been really good in this deck. Like we're just looking for such specific cards that like temples have been just aces. Yeah, we're in for that, right? I guess I have Tower Scout. Maybe I wanted to bottom that looking for mana. Yeah, I probably wanted to bottom that. Think I have to lead on this since they have removal on board. Might have also been right to just lead on Woe Strider here, because the goat insulates from Priest. I think if they attack with Butcher, I'm trading the Shepherd for it, and then we can Woe Strider to insulate from the Priest, and then eventually curve into Vannifar. Depending on what's in their hand, they could have a lot of permutations of different things they could do here. Now I'm more confused why they tanked. Again, we can beat a little bit of interaction. Yeah, that much, not so much. Tank. Cards I can never beat. Yep. Feels Magic Arena, man. What are lands, baby? Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think we're going to go bottom Tower Scout, bottom Temple, Shotgun, Overgrown Tomb, Incubation on one. Looking for a Goose. Take the Nightmare Shepherd, I think. Perfect. Then we're just like, waiting on like an untapper. Yeah, of course there are going to be multiple Shillionaires on Discord. This might be greedy, but it buys me a lot of breathing room. Does your tax bracket change? Well, luckily, Hoaglandia believes in marginal tax brackets, so even if you become a Shillionaire, it's not really a big deal, because you only take extra money on your millionth and first shilling. So an untapped land there would have been a good draw because it would have let us Goose plus Van. Now we might be a little bit too far behind, especially if their last couple of cards are good here. Bum it. So we're up to 12, and then we're going to take 5 here in combat. Maybe just 4 if they want to leave Priest up as an activation. Okay. Well. They get to draw a lot of cards next turn. And they get to draw an extra card at our end of turn, but I am saying there's a chance they die. Am I? No, that's actually not true, right? Because my hand's empty. Good chance we get to untap with Vannifar here, though, I suppose. So they draw for turn, and then Priest lets them draw 3 cards with the Midnight Reaper. Super dead to a Mayhem Devil. Super dead to Acclaim the Firstborn. Super dead to an Act of Treason. Well, I guess they can just end step do it, untap do it again. If they hit 2 creatures. Yeah, that's probably correct, huh? Yeah, my raw number of hours has been up a lot recently, so people are probably rolling in shillings a little bit more. It looks like our viewer count stabilizing back down past the release hype, so probably rein it in a little bit. Like I'm gonna stream a little bit this weekend, but I don't know that we're gonna do a bunch of 12-hour streams again. Probably just 5 or 6. Alright, let's try one more. See if we can end on a high note with this deck before we roll on into some Jeskai Alliance. Yeah, this is fine. Goose, Land Shepherd. Just draw Vannifar. Gotta do some 12-hour streams so you can get gems from WotC. Alright, this might confuse some people because I think there's this confusion that I enjoy dumping on WotC. And I really wish I didn't have to dump on them like I do, because that would mean they were doing better things. They weren't messing up as much. For the record, I think if they want to encourage people to do 12-hour streams and give them bonuses for people doing 12-hour streams, I think that's a good thing. They're not making anyone do anything that they don't want to do. Like, if that's something that they want to have be an option and collect prizes for it, great. It's purely a bonus. There are people out there that were probably going to do 12-hour streams even without a bonus incentive to do it. I think too many people are too focused on just like trying to dump on them for something that's an extra. People are so entitled. They're like, this is an extra thing that they're doing as a bonus for some people that were going to be making content anyways. So it's like, you know, I know it's easy and hip to dump on WotC because that's what all the kids want to do. But like, I think in this instance, dumping on them is completely unfounded. I have no idea. Even if it is some silly amount of gems, who cares? It's free extra crap for something people were going to be doing anyways. So in other words, chat, stop it. Get some help. Gosh, this matchup's probably impossible, huh? Can we win this matchup? Like, they're gonna gain enough life to be outside of what we can combo kill, right? For the record, like, 12-hour streams, I don't even think they're borderline unhealthy unless people are trying to, like, not eat while they do it, too. Like, in a world where people are doing like 24-hour streams, like yeah, like 12 is not 12 hours. No, I disagree. There's plenty of people that are playing Magic for 12 hours anyways. Like, thanks for the 3 months, Golden Guy. Yeah, like, I think people that are upset with the details of that announcement are people who are wholly unreasonable or not thinking it through. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Because again, even if you do think anything they said was unreasonable, it's optional. It's an optional extra they didn't have to give out or do for anyone. Like no one's forcing them to do anything, Marty. I think you're on the wrong side here. Like saying like, hey, if you do this extra thing, you get this bonus is like, for sure, this optional extra thing, you can get a bonus. So for people that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, Wizards of the Coast announced some creator program incentive thing that is irrelevant to me, but overall is probably fine. Like, it's just extra bonuses. Yeah, doing it every day is not good. Doing it once in a while is fine. That's exactly correct. Wholly agree. Sure, but I'm just saying, even the people that are like, this isn't okay, I think those people are bad. As someone who's done 24-hour and 6-hour and 2-hour and 12-hour streams, it's different for every person. And saying like inherently that like doing a 12-hour thing on occasion is unhealthy, that's just not true. It's perfectly fine, especially if you're someone like me who's doing like, has an ergonomic situation set up. Like, I don't know, if you're hunched over your desk in a corner with no actual reasonable lighting in your room and you're not eating and you're never taking breaks, like, I'm gonna time you out unironically, Marty. You're just really wrong here. You're really wrong here. I don't think I'm going to concede this matchup, move on to the next deck. I don't think we can win this matchup. I think that match is pretty impossible. They have a lot of pressure and they gain a lot of life. And they're going to have some removal post board. I don't feel like thinking through how to sideboard. Ooh, a mythic we didn't have. Yeah, I don't know. This is my favorite meme in the format. I think the sideboard could go in a lot of different directions. Like I mentioned the last time we played this, the only cards I'm confident that you want in here are Agonizing Remorse and Assassin's Trophy. I think either of these cards are good to keep. Destiny Spinner is good. We ran into flash decks. We wanted a card for that, so I think Destiny Spinner's fine against the flash decks. You need something. I think if you cut Wicked Wolf, you need something else to kill Mayhem Devil, because I do think you want at least 6 ways to kill Devil, not counting Incongruity. So, all right, what are we doing? We're gonna play some Jeskai Alliance up next, and I had a request to play a deck with Nadir Kraken in it, so we're gonna go ahead and give a crack at this archetype with 4 Kraken in it. I'm gonna hit a quick ad roll while I get set up for this next one, and we'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Hey, Ro, thanks for the 2 months. Cog, I work 12-hour shifts at least 3 times a week. Not sure how this is a strange concept. Yeah. And again, like, I hate when people are like, it's this optional extra thing, and people are like, it's bad because I don't want to do it. It's like, well, then don't do it. Don't do it. If you think it's bad, if you think it's not good for you, it really comes back to the whole thing of like, not everything. So many people think that every peg has to apply to every hole. And it's like, it's okay for something to be good and to work for someone else and not be good and work for someone else. Like, just because I do 12 hours on occasion doesn't mean everybody should do that. Just because some people do 24 hours on occasion doesn't mean I'm going to do that, right? Yeah, the key is it's optional. And more important than that, it's optional. It's an optional extra for something that a lot of people were going to be doing anyways. As someone who's a big advocate of screw asking people to work for free, like pay these people, giving them something for something that they're doing is great. The people comparing the thing with WotC with continuous 12-hour shifts multiple days over several weeks are comparing 2 different things. Correct. They are comparing 2 entirely different things. Sure, but I'm saying, again, because the Magic community is full of, it's the world, not even the Magic community, the world is full of entitled people. Like, even if that was a thing there, DMS, I don't think that that's a terrible thing to have happen. If you wanted to give people a bonus for doing long streams that they were going to do anyways, right? Like, the number of people that I've seen when you, like, scroll Magic things that are like, what's the... It's actually, you're very wrong, Aether Vial. It's not top 1,000. It's top 1,200.